This week they tell me that I need to be remodeled, specifically my attitude towards coffee.
We have a very, very expensive coffee here. It is the most expensive coffee in the world.
So is this a, like a thing that friends do with friends or enemies with enemies?
It's nothing but grounds. Who does this? My producer and crew have done an intervention, as they call it. This week they tell me that I need to be remodeled, specifically my attitude towards coffee. Seeing that the crew loves it, and I do not, I really do not like it. So they've sent me out to a regional coffee roaster, one who supplies coffee to many different coffee companies. And I dutifully truck off to work one day and I meet up with Leona Arnett and her father Dan, who are the owners of Kienna Coffee.
Where does a person get a cup of coffee around here? You must be Leona.
I am.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Sue.
Dan.
Hi, Dan, you handsome devil. Nice to meet you. I hear you're the brains of this place.
No, gee.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. It smells great in here, Leona.
Yeah, do you like coffee?
I like the smell of coffee. I hear that you might be able to change me though and make me like coffee.
I am going to do my best.
I suspect, like coffee by the time I leave here.
Oh, you have to.
Okay.
It's a prerequisite.
Leona had prepared a selection of coffees for me to try, and wow, was she ever a fountain of knowledge when it comes to everything coffee.
Typically, coffee is very much like wine. It's grown in different regions. It has different plants. This is a little coffee tree here. So we do roast and blend. Most of these are straights today, which means it comes from one country,
Okay.
roasted at one temperature. The Angels here is a post-roast mix. That means we take one roast it at a certain temperature, take another roast it at another temperature, mix them together after. That way you bring out the complexity of that country.
I didn't realize that coffee can be so...
It's very much like wine.
I like wine, so I think
Perfect.
There's hope for the coffee here.
There's hope. We'll have you liking it by the end.
Okay, deal. All right. Excellent. So where do we start first?
Well, we'll go around to the other side here and we'll
Okay.
make up some French press coffees for
All right.
you. Have a seat here
All
and
right.
we'll get
Thank
tasting.
you.
Sue, this is Ian. He's
Hi,
going to
Sue.
be
How
helping
are
out,
you?
making
Hi,
us some
nice to
coffee
meet
today.
you.
You're going to try some coffees with us today.
I am. I hear you're our barista for the day.
Well, I have had a little experience doing some barista
I
work
bet
over
you
the years.
have.
Today I've just done a couple to start you out with. I started with the backpackers and the Kona.
Okay.
That's going to give you two different sides of the scale here for roast profile.
Great. Thanks really for starting me off with the extra dark roast.
No problem, yeah.
You're really, really, really cruel, aren't you? Now, this is a French press. What's the difference between that, or why do you use that specifically?
See, we weren't totally cruel. French press keeps the grinds out of your teeth. It's one of the best ways to prepare coffee. You get all the coffee oils. The true cupping is where you place the grounds directly in the cup and you pour the water over the cup and you let it steep and you break the cap and you slurp it with a spoon.
Oh.
So we can try that later if you like.
We could try that for
All right.
sure. But I think this, for today, maybe a little bit
So
more.
you'll want to give it a smell.
We're not putting cream and sugar in?
No, you don't do that with coffee.
Oh.
No cream or sugar? Oh boy.
And when you take a sip, you'll want to sort of slurp it.
Do I
so
make
that you
the
can
sound?
Get the sure.
Okay.
Try.
Good.
That's really, really...
This is our extra dark roast for
Very-
coffee connoisseurs only.
It's very coffee.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so off. It was really strong, let's just say.
Is there something else we can try that's not as strong?
Okay, so Kona is known for being a milder coffee
And quite a popular one.
and
You
very
see Kona
popular
everywhere.
and quite expensive because
Is
they
it?
have such a limited place to grow them, and a lot of the Kona gets exported to Japan.
Oh.
A little easier on your palate.
It is. For lack of a better term, it's not as bitter.
Right.
A bitter
Yeah,
taste.
and you're going to have a lot more smoky notes in this one. You're going to have that kick that a lot of people really want.
I'm starting to feel a little jacked up, Leona. I'm telling you right now. I've got to admit, I don't hate either one.
All right.
That's a good
Excellent.
start.
That is a good start. So we have a couple more.
All right. A couple more.
She had at least 20 French presses ready for me.
We have a very, very expensive coffee here. It is the most expensive coffee in the world,
Oh,
and it's called Kopi Luwak.
Kopi Luwak. Where does it come from?
It comes from Sumatra, like Indonesia.
Yep.
It's special because it is ingested by the civets cat. Civets cat, if
The
goes
cat
around.
drinks coffee?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
So what happens is, it's like a lemur. It's a little,
Yeah.
and it goes around and it eats the cherries off the tree,
Yeah.
digests it,
Mm-hmm.
and then excretes it. Someone goes and takes
No.
yes, they really do. Takes the coffee beans, cleans them, I hope, and then we make coffee out of it. Are you willing to try that?
Cleans them, I hope.
Well,
Is that really what you just said? Is that what she
yeah,
said,
it's
Dan?
kinda
I'm
what
pretty
I
sure I
said.
heard.
Yeah.
So it's coffee made with pooped out beans.
Yes, we call it cat poo coffee, just
Cat
because it's
poo
funny.
coffee.
Uh-huh.
And you pay more for this.
It's about $300 to $500 a pound
$300 to $500 because it came out
of a cat.
the back end.
Yes.
So my attitude towards coffee is going through a major remodel as I prepare to drink cat poo coffee.
We're going to do a blind taste test here.
All right.
Because I think, you know, your palate is starting to take on this coffee flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a special flavor of coffee here that I think you're going to enjoy. But I'm not going to tell you which one it is. You're going to have to...
But one of them is the kitty poop flavor,
One of them
isn't it?
is the Kopi Luwak, or Civets Cat coffee. Yeah,
I don't
there's,
smell it
there's
yet.
no indications. It is clean coffee. When we receive it in the bags, it looks like
Leona
every
said
other
she
coffee.
thinks it's clean.
She thinks it is,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty
Well,
sure
at least
we're.
you've used boiling water, so that's a good thing. Dan, have you had the kitty poop coffee
No,
before?
I can't afford that.
First one I'm going to pour you is right over.
But don't
on
tell
me.
her.
I'm not going to tell you what this is.
I'm frightened. You guys are scaring me now. Okay, so one of these is kitty poop.
Correct?
All right.
I really was not a big fan of the first one, so I moved on and tried the next one.
I think I taste poop in that.
I don't think it tastes poop.
No?
But I think you're right. I think
Really?
This is the Kopi.
Is that the Kopi?
Yeah, the one on your right is the Kopi Luwak, and the one on your left is the Sumatra.
And you preferred the other one.
I did. Well, good. I don't have to spend $300 a pound now on my coffee. Sorry, kitty poop, you're out.
Cheers to the.
Cheers. Cheers, Dan.
I'd had enough coffee for one day. I really wanted to find out what the whole roasting process was about. So the next day, I showed up for work, ready to go.
Hey, guys.
Good morning.
I've come down from my coffee buzz yesterday, so I think I'm ready to get to work now.
Sounds good.
All
We'll
right.
take you in the back, give you a tour.
Okay.
All right.
Leona introduced me to her brother Randy, who gave me an orientation on how a coffee roaster is all laid out.
We have two roasters.
Yep.
One right here and one right there.
Okay.
This is a small batch roaster that we use for more of our artisan roasts and just smaller production runs.
Right.
So this roaster is fully automated and it's quite a large capacity roaster.
Okay, how many beans would fit in there?
We can do up to 300 pounds
Oh, wow.
at a time.
Okay.
Roasters, grinders, raw beans, and even a packing warehouse. Then Randy handed me over to John, a master roaster, who put me right to work.
John, this is Sue.
Hi, John.
Hi, Sue.
How are you?
Pretty good.
I
Yourself?
like your hair.
Thank you.
Is it always that color?
Sometimes blue, sometimes others.
Well, I really appreciate you going pink for us.
Exactly for you.
I love it. Thank you.
John's our roast master here. He's going to set you up with some work.
Really? We're going to roast?
You're going to roast and a lot more, hopefully.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait. Good.
Have fun.
Thanks, Randy.
Hey, Randy. All right, Sue, I'll throw you to work right away.
Okay.
I'll get you over here.
No sooner had he shown me the order that we needed to fill, and then he sent me out to grab the bags of beans myself.
Costa Rican.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to need you to unload the truck.
Okay.
You need some more beans for the hoppers.
Okay. This back there?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Come back if you need any help.
Okay, thanks, John. Are you kidding me? I hope he doesn't think I'm lifting all of this.
The truck was full of pallets of beans, and I found the load of Costa Rican beans that he had told me to get. But do you think that I could lift it?
How am I supposed to lift this thing? I can't even, like,
That's the Guatemalan. We want the Costa Rican. It's actually on a skid up front.
Oh.
We can just use the pallet jack and just take it off the truck.
Oh, I knew that. Finally, they took pity on me and they let me use the forklift.
How high?
A little higher.
And now it was time to trace the life of the coffee bean, from the bag to my cup.
Okay, so now you got to unload these into the hoppers, cut them open. I'll give you a show. Roll on up.
Thanks. Hey, I thought you were going to do this for me.
Not yet.
How much is this weigh?
70 kilos.
Oh, how much is that in pounds? 150 pounds?
About that, yeah.
Oh my, seriously? Can we get a forklift up here?
That's how we got them up. Now it's all by hand.
Oh. All right, so cut it open and let them rip.
You got her. You know it. Good, shake all the beans out.
That wasn't so bad.
No, only 5 more to go.
After I dumped 5 more bags of beans into the hopper, John explained to me where they actually were going.
So now we're going to turn her on, suck it up. It's going to go through the filter here. It's going to get sorted. Some of the guck's going to go on the other side. Beans are going to get scooped up outside and drop into our silo. Okay, so it's going to get really noisy. Give me a set of those.
Thank you. Ooh, that's loud.
It gets that way.
So is this where if you were making a blend, you would put your different blends of bean into this at this point?
Yeah, this is basically where all the blends get put in.
Okay.
And they get mixed up through everything else.
And then into the roaster?
Yeah.
Well, how many types of coffee do you have on site at any one time?
To be honest, I don't know the exact number, but it's probably around 40.
Really?
So then it was time to pour some beans onto the scale and then vacuum them into the hopper, sitting on top of the massive roaster.
So first thing we got to do is get this one started roasting.
Okay.
So we're going to mark the temperature, which is 215.
215, check.
Use this control. Okay, so while that's doing it,
That's just sucking it all into here now.
correct.
And then refill the hopper up with more beans, the ones I had dumped into the main silo. It was a real production. All the switches, dials, and buttons to keep this coffee bean process going, it was mind-numbing. While this was happening behind me, Randy was working on another roaster, one that does smaller batches and artisan roasts, such as the Kopi Luwak, the cat poo coffee. Randy had to inspect these beans by sight on this roaster. And when they were done, the sight and smell of those coffee beans pouring out to be cooled, oh, it was incredible. It turns out I had poured way too many beans onto the scale, so John made me pull them all out by hand until the weight was just right.
71 something.
Okay, so you're good so far?
The roasting process just never stopped, so I had to ask John, how many beans do you roast in one day?
This is on set, so we're good there.
Yep.
This is ready. This is going to be next.
Okay.
After that, we still have 2 more roasts of the same thing, and then we move to the next.
How much would you roast in a day?
Approximately a ton of coffee.
Wow.
So that's a little more than a ton of coffee of green beans.
So it's just non-stop. You're hauling it in, dumping it in there, and off it goes.
So as soon as we finish this, usually we have coffee that's been in the destoner,
Yep.
which I happen to have in the bag already. So we got to get that up and grind before the next coffee comes.
Now we were moving on to the coffee grinder, and this grinder was the biggest grinder I've ever seen in my life. We actually had to use a forklift to load it.
One, two, three?
1, 2, 3. That's 2.
That's 2. I was just checking. 1, 2, 3.
Good.
And then lift her.
Yep. Now the auger starts up.
After that gigantic bag was fully ground, we actually had to use a pallet jack to lift it and get it over to the warehouse.
Okay, so after all this is finished off, packaging is going to come by, pick up the coffees that they need that have been sitting for long enough.
Yep.
And then they're going to continue on packaging with the pods or whole bean or grind small packages.
Well, I want to see how that pod machine works.
Well, if you want, you can go find Ian over there. Unfortunately, my machine has gone off. I got to get back over there.
Run, John.
So help
Run.
yourself.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
See ya. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Sue. How'd the roasting go?
It was great. Wow, it's like a different world coming from one room to the next in this building. Like, you know, where all the roasting and the beautiful smells, and then we're into the automation.
Now we're going to show you how we get all that coffee fresh roasted into some of the packaging forms that we do.
Okay.
We do a number of different packaging forms. I just set up a table here,
Yep.
and this has a table of all the variety of pods that we do.
Wow.
And we do these individual single-serve pods.
Yep.
That are used in the single-serve coffee market.
You got 20 different types.
20 different
20 different
varieties.
flavors of
Yeah.
coffee
Yeah.
in the pods. That's pretty neat.
Exactly. And I'm going to show you now, we're going to go through the process of making a pod.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, there's a container of fresh roasted coffee coming in right now.
So we're
gonna
gonna
get that
we're
set
gonna
up.
bring it from the roaster right into the
Bring
machine
it in here.
and package it up.
It's ground, it's ready to go. It's going to go on the machine, and we're going to make an individual single-serve pods.
That's as fresh can be, because really, as we talked about, those bags of coffee have sat there for 3 days max if they're gassing off, right?
Gassing off is typically 24 to 48 hours, but
So maximum, and then into a package and off it goes to
Right.
the store. So the coffee you're getting at home is wow.
So we've got all the fresh coffee now in the hopper, and it's ready to go into the machine. So let's
All right.
walk over and start this baby up.
I can't wait to see the process. Ready to go?
Ready to go.
Ian showed me how this machine was actually packaging the coffee in little pods. They look very much like a tea bag.
This is like the most amazing machine. Where is this from?
This machine is actually built in Italy, and there's two sides to this machine. There's the production side of the machine that we're seeing right now,
Yep.
and then there's the packaging side of the machine.
Okay. So this is like a Lamborghini, a Ferrari.
Ferrari, I
Ferrari.
guess, you know, this is the
just like the Ferrari, yeah.
Ferrari of the coffee manufacturing line. So you see each individual pod being brought up
Yeah,
to
it's
the,
coming off the line.
and then it's dispensed one side, left side, right side, and then at that point it's inserted into its package. Just as we insert that package, before we seal it, we use a nitrogen flush, and that nitrogen then expels any oxygen that's inside that package.
It could make the coffee stale.
Exactly. If
Wow.
coffee is exposed to oxygen, it goes stale.
Yep.
We remove that oxygen, it's just sitting in its own coffee gases. if you
So
will.
it is fresh.
Fresh, and it holds it fresh. That's the key. Because people don't always obviously use their single cup
Right away.
machine all the time, every day. This coffee is shelf stable for upwards of 12 months to 18 months.
It was incredible how fresh coffee went in one end and came out in boxes on the other side. These particular pods were designed to be used in an eco-friendly, reusable container, one specific to the pod coffee machines.
Because of course we know how coffee needs to be brewed and
Right.
but we had to adapt to a system that uses a plastic capsule
Okay.
like this, and this plastic capsule essentially is what we have adapted to. The plastic capsules like this, as I mentioned earlier, we're trying to be more environmentally friendly
Okay.
and trying to offer a solution to some of those costs.
So you just keep reusing this. You put your pod into that.
Exactly. Reused over and over. We just take the pod like this, turn it into a little ball, place it in there like that,
Yep.
and close the lid. So essentially now we have just created this
Okay.
with a product that can now be thrown into the
But
landfill.
this, you just open it up, take the bag out, throw that away, reuse the
Right. When you're done,
The capsule.
this will go in your compost.
You know what? I'm kind of, I'm sensing a craving.
We've really converted you from to a coffee drinker.
I was not a big fan
No.
when I walked in the door, but I've tasted so many blends, and I think because it's so fresh too.
Yeah.
You know, it just really makes a big difference.
Well, let's go
Can
make
you
a cup of
I was
coffee.
gonna say, can you show me how that works?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Kind of, abusing you here because
Ian had promised me a cup of coffee and I held him to it. I wanted to trace that coffee bean from the bag to my cup. I learned a lot about coffee, and I learned to appreciate the complexity of the coffee bean too. I was starting to feel that there was as much romanticism attached to the coffee roasting as there was to the winemaking process. And then Leona found me, and she took it to a whole new level.
So Sue, I have one last pass for you before
Okay.
you leave.
I'm a little
And we're
scared.
Gonna do, you kind of should be.
Okay.
We're going to do a cupping.
Yep.
This is a true cupping. Coffee's been tasted like this for probably hundreds of years.
Really?
Yeah, 800 at least.
Do we just eat it like that?
No, you're lucky enough that we pour the water on. You gotta let it steep, break the cap, and then you slurp the coffee with this special cupping
Don't
spoon.
we get grinds in our mouths?
Let's try it out.
Great. So now what do we do?
So, which one did you pour first?
This
This one? Okay. So you want to take the spoon, and this is called breaking the cap.
Okay.
So you break the cap, and you're going to want to stir those grounds down, and they're going to float down to the bottom. Coffee will sink.
So is this a, like a thing that friends do with friends, or enemies with enemies? Or is this just a way to enjoy a fabulous cup of coffee?
What you're going to get out of why people do it this way is you get all the lipids, you get all the flavor, and you're going to get the true sense of the coffee. Now you want to take a big smell of it first.
Okay.
And then you take your spoon,
Okay.
trying not to get any grounds in it.
No. It's
And-
all.
Yummy?
That's really good, Leona. Now that was horrible. Oh. That's nothing but grounds. Who does this?
Just chew it. It's good.
That's really nice of you. Thank you. I
You're welcome.
super appreciate that. It's been the best part of my journey here.
You gotta
in my teeth.
let me
Yeah.
go. So I'd like to give you this present
Yeah.
for coming by.
Oh, good. A real present. That's nice. I do appreciate that. Oh, fantastic.
Sort of a coffee kit to get
Thank
you going.
And the French press.
Your French
So
press.
I don't have to do it that
little
way.
travel mug
And some coffee.
and a steaming pitcher. You know, in case you wanna
Perfect.
do
Thank
some
you
latte
so
art.
much.
You're
and
welcome.
in a pink basket. Thank you very much. I really have had a ton of fun, and I can honestly say to you, I actually have a taste for coffee now.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
I have now been remodeled, and I do not hate coffee anymore.
Trig, could you just get one of those bags? Throw them over on top of that pile for me, please. Thanks. Yep, just perfect. Good work. Good work. Right over there. Yep.
Sue, what are you doing?
I'm loading the truck.
That's not what it looks like to me.
I pulled a muscle. Yes, Leona.
Thanks, Sue.
Yes, Leona.
Look at this.
Do you think you guys could maybe get to work? We've got a whole truck to unload.
Jeez.
This week's episode of Remodel It with Her features the music of Russell Morgan.
I'm not working in these conditions. Forget it.
For more information on this week's episode and coffee roasting, visit facebook.com/remodelitwithher.